to live, Spirit and Coffee. Got my coffee here. Um, I lost my mic for the podcast Podbean, so if please let me know if you can hear me. Um, because I don't know if you can hear me. But good morning and welcome. Um, so just want to see how everybody's doing, where everybody's at. I know that quarantine has, as we continue to go on this journey, a lot of people are saying it feels a lot like Groundhog Day, where, everything just keeps going over and over and over. And it's like the same day over and over. No one knows what day it is because it feels like the same day. Um, Now, I'm not sure if that's true for everybody because there are some people who are still going to work. Kiki, can you hear me? Please let me know. And good morning to you. But let me know if you can hear me because I don't have my mic. I couldn't find it this morning. It was driving me nuts. And by the way, I have a cousin who I call Kiki. So it's a great name. Just let me know. A quick yes would be awesome. I can hear you. Um, so I know that my podcast listeners are able to hear what I have to say. Okay, so wanting to see where you guys are at in terms of your mental, spiritual, emotional well-being. People are going, I think, crazy. And someone said, good, thank you, Kiki. Some people were saying that it feels like we're just reliving the same day over and over and over again. And I said, okay, well, here's the thing. Remember Groundhog Day and remember that, yes, the day may have seemed the same or looked the same, but every day, the person who was living the dream, right, or living in Groundhog Day over and over again and was aware that they were, good morning, Jose, we're living this particular dream over and over and over again, was able to make different choices. Now, the outcome was going to be the same no matter what. And we know that. So, right now, we're in a surrender phase where we cannot dictate what is going to happen or what the outcome is going to be. Right now, we are in surrender of God. Okay. So, for those who believe in God, are completely surrendered to God's storyline and saying, God, what is the storyline? We may not be able to see it. However, even if we're experiencing the same thing over and over, we're able to make different choices in how we engage our day. You guys have the ability to choose what you do with your day. Those are the practices that we put in place. Every day is an opportunity. Now, you could spend your day in speculation about what is to come in fear based programming, but for what? That is what they want to do. They want to keep you in fear. Why? Because the greatest control that they can have over you is through fear. So turn off your TVs, turn off any media. I'm not saying don't be informed. Please inform yourself if that's what you choose to do. But beyond that, turn it off and be with God. Be with God. Choose to engage your family. Choose to engage your life. Choose to do arts and crafts that you had never done before. It's your choice. Even if you feel like you're living the same day over and over, it's your choice to determine where you want to put your mind. Okay. Good morning, Auntie Christine. Where you want to see the day go. It is up to you. You can choose to focus on the crazy or you can choose to focus on love and your gifts. What are you good at? Are you good at, I don't know, drawing? Are you good at what are you good at? Singing, writing lyrics, journaling, writing a book? What is it that you wanted to do? And if you stay stuck on the fear-based programming, you will never get to the things that you want to do. You will live this day like it's Groundhog Day over and over and over and over again until all of this is what comes to a halt, something shifts, right? We're on the precipice of change. The precipice of change. It's reaching its peak. Okay. It's like a movie. In a movie, okay, movies are based on what's called a hero's journey. There are books that have been written about it. In fact, every movie we watch is based on the hero's journey. Any book that, any movie that you watch is a hero's journey. Okay, there's some call to action, right? The character, it goes through something, and then they have to leave, and they have to go on a journey, and then they go on their journey, and then they come back with some newfound information, and then they share that with the people. We're on our own hero's journey at this point. Now, how you choose to live out your hero's journey, how you choose to engage your day, is going to be totally up to you. I cannot tell you what to do with your day. You've got to, or get to, figure out what it is that you choose to do. What is your deepest calling? Right now, God is calling to you and saying, child, I'm giving you time. Okay. If you thought about God talking to you, good morning, it'd be like, child, I'm giving you refuge. I'm giving you a time out. I'm giving you time. Good morning, Joe, to figure out what it is that you want to do with your life. Who are you truly? Do you remember that you are me? Do you remember that you are connected to me? I'm giving you another day to figure it out. In a way, it's refuge. It's to start to awaken to who you are truly, wholly, and fully and completely. We all have our unique fingerprints to leave in the world. We all have our unique things that we will leave in this world, tapping into yours. What is yours? What is your gift that you want to leave? What do you want to leave behind? We all have a gift to leave, right? Is it kindness, compassion? Is it drawing? Is it, I have a friend who does carvings. I mean, what is it for you? It's tapping into that, right? Is it cooking? Is it doing videos like me? What is it for you? So it's really just figuring that out. What will ignite you and spark your truest inner happiness? Now, in Groundhog Day, if you haven't watched the movie, please watch the movie. It's a good movie. If I could give you a list of recommended movies to watch during quarantine, I would. I can name a few that I myself am watching. Why? Because sort of they've sort of given us clues that this was to come, right? This is not something that this has been an agenda, age old agenda. Okay. I mean, back from whenever, right? Because why? Because we have to wake up to who we are. Okay. This is a awakening call. God is calling out to us, like, waking up, you little children. Get up out of bed and wake up and remember who I am. Okay. And so it has to get crazy before it gets worse. Why? Because people were so polluted with all of the messaging and marketing that was being thrown at our face over and over. No matter where you went, there was just billboards and commercials and TV programs and sports and everything to keep you away from God. Casinos and bars and everything. All of that. Why? So that you can idolize things that are outside of God. Why was it designed that way? Well, we know that if we steer you away from your true calling and your true godly self, that you get to play into the agenda of people who may use manipulation and control. Okay. It's very simple. Think about it. It's like being in an abusive relationship, right? If we looked at this at a smaller scale, and you're in an abusive relationship, people will use words and fear to keep you in that relationship. And some people who experience domestic violence and harmful relationships are afraid to leave because they're afraid something's going to happen to them if they don't, because they've been programmed to live in that fear-based understanding of another individual relationship. Okay? And they stay there. And sometimes people don't escape those relationships, but some do, and they leave, and then they find their joy and happiness. Why? Because they realize that they had the power within them all along to release that energy, to release that relationship, to let it go. They are doing the same thing, and though it doesn't seem harmful, with all of the propaganda that they put inside in your face purposely. They do it purposely, okay? And by they, I mean these energies, there's an energy force that's doing this, right? It's beyond our understanding. You can call it the devil, people call it the ego, they call it the archons, the eons. They, some people believe in aliens and believe it's alien energy, whatever you believe, right? Regardless, we know that it exists, right? We know that the fear based programming exists. You cannot deny it, it's there. So, are you paying attention to that? Or are you shutting that off and paying attention to God? Because if you start to pay attention to God, you're not going to be sucked into the news media and all the propaganda of fear. Why? Because we know that death happens. Now, I'm not saying don't take precautions, okay? Don't hear me say that. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we understand what's going on. We get what they're asking us to do. Now is the time to take a pause out and listen to God. Period. Turn everything off. Shut your ears. And almost I was thinking, God, why the mask, right? So I talked to God, like, God, why are they making us do this? What is it that they're telling? And I said, maybe I personally won't wear the masks, right? But what does it mean? What is the symbology? Why are they having us shut up? And I was like, well, is it people shutting us up? Yeah, perhaps. And perhaps they're trying to keep us quiet. But then I thought from God's perspective, and I said, God, why would you shut us up? And then I thought, oh, because we talk more than we listen. We're not listening to God. To listen to God, to shut your mouth, right? So I started to think, oh, the symbol of what God is saying is be quiet, shut your eyes, and listen to God. Listen more than we talk. And I talk a lot. Like, shut your mouth, girl. If I can't talk in a godly sense, maybe I should just shut my mouth. If it can't be of God, maybe I shouldn't talk. If it's not coming from a place of kindness and compassion, maybe I shouldn't talk, right? Um, let's see, I was talking to one of my nutrition clients about this yesterday, getting out of the house and utilizing nature as our gym, utilizing time she has home to create meals she enjoys with our fitting to her goals, utilizing the time to work on self-control. Yes, and that is the biggest thing, is that we can utilize our time and redirect our time into things that are meaningful. Turn off the TVs, turn to God. And I say walking and nutrition are a big point, a big calling to God. Like, I go walk in the bosque, and the beauty and magnificence that I see God in everything, in the rocks, I see God in the water that's flowing down the stream. I see God in these ducklet, like I saw these two little ducks and their chicklets that were walking, right? And like it was a little family of ducks, and it was so cute. And they were like, walking their little babies, chicklets, and and then I just walked by, and they looked at me, and they like hissed, right? They hissed at me like, "Don't you touch my babies." And I was like, "Hey, I'm not here to harm your babies." And I kind of stepped aside, like I kind of moved away so that they could feel that there was no threat, right? That I wasn't there to threaten them or their children, or their babies. And then I just walked on. But to see that God exists in that, and to be able to witness the protection of a parent in the animal kingdom, right? Because that's what happens. We are protectors. We protect the innocent, right? And you'll see that animals will protect their innocent children. They're like chicklets. Don't harm them. They're not big enough to defend themselves at this point. So we get to step in and defend them. And so, but just finding nature that way, right? And remembering that the principles of nature exist in God everywhere, right? Because it's like that is natural law, that is God's law. When we look at something like that, right? When we are able to connect what is happening in the natural world into our world, then we can say, "Oh yeah, God has a law." Nobody taught the duck to protect the chicklets, right? It's a natural instinct, it's a natural behavior. Mothers protecting their children, the innocent, right? The ones who are all knowing protecting us. Okay. And do people understand that? That God is protecting us, He protects the innocent. If you're innocent in your heart, if you're innocent in your intentions, that you are protected by God. It's the ones that are doing crazy things right now, okay? Because we know a lot of crazies going on that are doing things to harm purposefully, intentionally to harm the innocent. That's what's going on right now, okay? We know that. It's been happening forever. We talk about it all the time. You have people that are in leadership that do crazy things all the time. They're human. Of course they're going to do crazy things. They're human. They're not they're perfectly imperfect. And some people, because of free will, have a choice to go crazy and do crazy things and make crazy choices and harm innocent people. But guess what? God knows. God sees. And if you ask God to protect you because you are innocent, God will come and put a protective shield around you. He will protect the innocent, just like the duck, because that's natural law. That is God's law. We're so lucky to live in an area where we have so much land and space to move. Yes, I agree, because New York would be, oof, I couldn't do it. Even here, sometimes it's too much, right? Um, yes, we are very fortunate to where we live, very fortunate for what we have. So again, what are you paying attention to at this time? What is it that you guys are? Good morning, Preet. Good morning, Sandeep. I don't know if you guys are still on here. And what shows are you watching? So some I do like movies. I'm a movie person. I think that movies have a great because it's the hero's journey. Good morning, Rick. That the movies that I can suggest that I feel are really helpful in sort of giving you some insight and preparedness, right? To sort of remember what happens in the hero's journey. And like I told you guys, I was watching Divergent, Convergent, Insurgent, all those things. I also like Harry Potter, so I'm a Harry Potter fan. I like to watch that. There's a lot of information in Harry Potter, in how things operate, right? Gives you some clues on what you can do in terms of sort of understanding characters, right? More archetypes. Like there are certain archetypes and personalities that show up in individuals. And right now, there are archetypes that are starting to magnify. They're starting to show up in a big way that we're seeing it with our own eyes. We're witnessing these archetypes, right? That are they could be harmful to the survival of humanity, right? They're harmful. It's like almost like they don't want humanity to live. If you saw The Matrix, which is a good one, The Matrix talks about Agent Smith, right? Agent Smith wants to devour everything. Okay, Agent Smith don't care about the humans nor the machines, right? So it's that understanding of the movies, right? There's some allegorical, metaphorical things that happen in movies that can sort of give us an idea of, oh yeah, okay, here's what's happening, right? It gives us perspective, basically. And so The Hunger Games is a great one to watch. 1984, I've never seen it, but I know that that movie is a big one. Those type of movies you can kind of watch and see, but at the end, it's a hero's journey. At the end, we know. I will say that some of these movies, there's not a call to God. The reality is it's the call to God that's going to support us, save us, and protect us. Okay. That's what it is at the end of the day. Wake up. It's God and God and God and God. And I'm going to say that a billion, gajillion, zillion times. Yahweh. Okay. Over and over and over and over and over again. Because it's all, God is all knowing. It's there. You can't be outside of God. There's just no way. And it just doesn't even make sense. Right. It doesn't, there's no way. I mean, when you think about it, it just can't happen. Okay. And do we know what God is or looks like? No, there's no way. We're too tiny. We're too tiny, but we're a part of it. We're an extension of God. And so is every other creature in this planet, right? They're extensions of God. Um, And so we get to recognize and remember that and come back to that. So really, these movies are really, I, at least when I watch these movies, get this spark of inspiration and hope to be stand up and be a warrior, right? Like I'm like, yes, I'm a warrior. Yes, I'm gonna pull through. Yes, I am the character that is gonna come through this, and we are gonna stand up and unite, and we are gonna take our armor, we're gonna take our swords, and we're going to stand with God, right? And like we're going to just be the army of God, and like we're just coming with God's might, like that. That's how I see it, right? So, good morning, Ignacio. So, standing with your armor, standing with your staff, right? Your staff. Moses had a staff. Everybody had a staff, right? They all had a staff. This staff is like our wands, right? It's our fire. It's the will to know that God is all, the will to know that the fire energy, the warrior that exists within you, comes from the will of God, that we have the power to stand with our staff in God's name. Mighty staff, right? Like we're coming, yay. We have that. You have that. In fact, go make one. Like literally, I've made a staff. You know why? A staff to say, yes, I place this on the ground and I stand with God. Now is the time. I mean, it's been the time forever, but more than ever, people are recognizing it. I'm excited, you guys. This is like the most exciting time for me. I know some people it's hard and they're going through a lot, but I'm excited because it's God's show right now. It's God's show. Like I hope that they put God all over everywhere. Like let's put that all over. Let's remind everybody about God. Why don't we put that all over the channels? I think that's what should be aired everywhere. God everywhere, not this quarantine stuff. Let's talk about God, right? Let's put that on on the news. Let's put that everywhere, right? And literally, I thought, God, how can I do more? I've thought about really getting a big loudspeaker and putting it on my car and going around neighborhoods and putting on meditation music and just really getting people to remember who they are. I'm like, can I do this? You know, I'd probably get in trouble for going out there and reminding people they are God. Like they probably would arrest me. Your noise pollution, really? Like I don't have a right to talk about God in the streets? Are you crazy? Well, I'm 500 billion feet away from no everybody. I'm not convening more than one person. I'm in my car, my own property, and I'm gonna put the music on and go around on a loudspeaker. I mean, I really thought about doing this, you guys. I think I should. I kind of want to. I think it'd be so fun and so amazing, and that like people can remember that there's hope and that God's with them always, right? Like, wouldn't that be awesome? And because everybody's home now, everybody's in their house. So it's like the ice cream truck comes and everybody runs out, like God's coming and everybody should run out like it's the ice cream truck. I think that would be fun. The ice cream man doesn't get in trouble for playing his music. So maybe I'll be like the ice cream man, but I'll be the God lady and just go out with my loudspeakers. God loves you. God's with you. I pray for you. God is with us always. I could go out and do those messages instead of this fear based stuff that they're trying to put in our head. Cover your mouth, put your da da da. It's like, okay, this is my message. Cover your mouth, close your eyes. Remember, God is in your heart. This is your time to hear and listen to God. God is asking us to shut up so we can listen to Him. That's why you have your masks on. It's not because of the virus, it's because God's talking to you. Okay. I'm really being serious. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but the reality is I'm really serious. Like those that literally believe that God is telling us to shut up. And me, I just talk, 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 talk. So I have to shut up too. But I do spend most of my morning by myself in silence. So I spend a lot of time in silence. It's probably why I talk so much when you guys come on here. Um, so remember, we are God. God is us. We are one in God. We are in unity with God. God is all there is. God is the protector. When we watch natural law, something that I would highly recommend that you do when you go on your little walks is really observe nature because God speaks through nature. God's law is in nature, not in human. We can plan only, but God will decide. Yeah, yes. God will decide. Well, God knows. It's not even that He's decided. It's like God's all knowing, right? There's not even a good morning, Sandeep. There's not even like this idea. God knows. God knows. And He uses us as vessels when we allow ourselves to be open to speak His words, right? If we pray like this morning, I pray, right? I pray every morning. Like that's all I do is pray all day. Like I don't think people. I'm very obsessed with God, like in a way that that's it. It's just God. Everything's God for me. Period. Good morning, Roberto. That's it. I told you, God's my homie. Like, really. And then I woke up this morning. God, what do you want me to do? God, use me as your vessel. God, where am I supposed to be? God, who do I reach out to? God, show me the way. God, how do I support these people, your people? God, how do I support myself? God, how do I support my family? Show me the way. God, everything, God. Everything, everything. Even to the mic that I couldn't find this morning. I couldn't find my mic for my podcast that I do, my audio podcast on Podbean. And I said, God, where is it? Show me. And it didn't show up. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to go on without it. Let's see if it works. And it still works. Okay. Auntie Christine says the Bible talks about unknown plagues. I believe this is one of them. Like God said, all this must come to pass. I will come. Yes. So it will. I mean, we've gotten some information through Revelations. People are like, this is Revelations. And, some people are afraid. And I think a lot of the people that might be afraid that this is happening is because they may be sort of shaky about their relationship with God. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? There's nothing wrong with you. If you're a little kind of on edge, I would imagine the most people that show up here are 100% like, yes, God, I'm a warrior of God. But there's these people that may be kind of like teetering between the two, right? They're kind of like, I don't know if I believe in God. I might not believe in God. I might not believe in all of this. I'm an atheist, or I believe in science, or whatever it is they believe, right? And sometimes those people live in fear. But the people that have faith, right? The people that truly believe don't live in fear because they understand that God is with them always. They know that God is going to deliver them. They know that God protects the innocent, the ones that have pure intentions in their heart. There's no doubt in their mind. They don't doubt it. They just know it. And that's what's beautiful about the time that we live in. Because right now, people of God, people who know God, people who believe in God are not doubting God. They have 100% faith in God. So they don't have to have fear because God will deliver them. And they're 100% clear about that. It's faith. And faith is something that happens without us seeing the result. We just know. We just understand. We just, in our heart of hearts, know that God will come deliver us. That is faith. And that's a faith that sometimes you just can't give it to people. They have to find it for themselves. Is it sad? Yes. For me, it's sad to see people who don't have faith. I can't give it to them. I can guide them and sort of like say, here's, but I can't give it to them. They have to find it for themselves. I wear a mask to protect my elder patients from, yeah, spewing saliva. I understand your point. I listen and talk to God all day. I also know God wants me to be best healthcare. Yes. And Doreen, you are out in the field and in the front lines. So thank you very much. I think about 90% of the population, I don't even know that's a very high statistic, but is in their house. or they just go to the grocery stores to get their food and stuff, but typically not out in the public like they normally were. So yes, those who are in the front lines and protecting themselves, you know, yes, absolutely. God is amazing. He is always with me. Yes, God is with you always. I do this. It's really awesome. There's people that I reach out to every day and just, say, God be with you. Don't get responses from them, and that's okay. That's okay because I send it to the people that I feel um, are not getting it, but I know they have it within them to understand and know and get, right? So, who are you reaching out to? Those are the things. Who are you reaching out to? Who are you connecting with? And what is your message, right? My message is always circle back to God every time, every day. It's like I feel like a like I'm a broken record, kind of. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say the same thing over and over. People go, well, this and that, and they kind of talk about it in my family, like who started this all. I'm like, it's not a who, it's just God is telling us to wake up. That's it. I mean, it's really that simple. Again, everything simple is not so simple in practice, right? To live it is a little bit more complicated. So it's simple because this is God. Yeah, God is saying, wake up, wake up. You people, you humans have gone a little bit off your rockers. You guys have gone totally this way. You're idolizing things that are so far from who you truly are, right? It's not that you're idolizing things that are stopping you from actually doing your godly self, fully embodying who you are as your God self. That's what it is. It's distracting you from actually recognizing that you are God. We use these things as a distraction. We use sports, we use casinos, we use going out to the nightclubs and drinking and drugs and all this to steer us away from really being with ourselves and remembering that we're God. We think we're damaged, right? And there's all this programming and layers of programming and all this stuff that's been the fear and all that's been put in us when really we're just God. And now everything is stopped and God is saying, listen, I'm here. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's all God. Come to me, kiddo. What are you doing? You're going to rebel again? Go ahead, rebel. See where it gets you. Your own damnation, right? You're creating your own damnation. It's not God doing it. You're doing it to yourself. We are our own worst enemy. We. But we want to point fingers. We want to blame somebody. And I keep saying it's not a somebody. It is God is waking us up. It's exciting. So wake up. 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 Get up. It's time to wake up and recognize who you are. You're a baby lotus pod. It's ready to bloom into God's love. See, you're a baby lotus pod waiting to bloom into God's love. Baby lotus pod waiting to bloom into God's love. Simple, but not so simple to live. Okay. So every time your mind starts to wander down the rabbit hole into the fear based stuff, just remember God. Just remember God. Just keep bringing yourself back to God over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Over. Every day, all day. Make it your first thing, your everything. And then when something shows up, right, magnificent, right, because there's always hope, right? There's always, God is always there. And God will give you some recognition, like, I'm here with you. It's okay. Here you go. And then you get this blessing, right? Whether small or big, right? Because sometimes blessings they seep in very tiny sometimes. And sometimes there's a whole bunch that comes in. You're like, whoa, that's a lot of blessing. But sometimes they're just tiny things, right? That just need us to remember, to remind us. And we get those tiny little things. Those tiny little things should touch your heart so much that you cry in thanks and gratitude. Not, I need more, I want more, this isn't what I wanted. Well, you ungrateful person. I just see it like a kid, right? Like I just put myself in the eyes of a child, right? Like where I'm like, no, I wanted it this way. Well, it doesn't go that way, kiddo. This is what I got. This is what I'm giving you. Be grateful. How can I give you the big stuff? You can't even be grateful for the little stuff. Hello? That when you get that tiny little blessing that shows up, maybe you're out of groceries. Maybe you're out of tissue paper. Maybe you're out of whatever. I don't know. And someone says, "Here, I got you." That's God talking to you. That's God speaking through other people to you. And it may be $20 worth of groceries, but it's something, right? And it's going to keep you going in this moment. Every day we can be thankful. Yes. So those tiny little sparks of hope and God speaking to you, they touch my heart. Good morning, Mama. So much that I cry. Like I literally cry to my core. Like I can even feel it now. Right? Today I'm going to be doing like this, right? This is a blessing, and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing today. You guys are more than welcome to join this meditation. Okay. God know the believers and non-believers. He knows everything. Yes, he does. So the today, which is a beautiful blessing, right? And I'm sort of like, okay, I'm like, God wouldn't give it to me if I wasn't worthy of doing it. So I need to just be okay. But I was asked to do a guided meditation. And the guided meditation is for people in recovery. And what does that mean? It means people who were addicts that are in recovery. And I was asked that it's the New Mexico Leadership Leaders in Recovery to do a meditation. And when I was asked, I cried and I said, "Thank you, God." Because obviously God's telling me I need you here. This is where you're going to be. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to what you tell me. Whatever you tell me. However, I can be the vessel of support, right? And for me, I cried and I'm crying now because that was a blessing. That's a blessing. That's God saying, "Here, I need you to do this for me." Okay, I could do that for you. Now, the Natalie in me thinks, am I worthy enough to do that? Am I good enough to support these people? You know, can I do this? Right? And that's the Natalie in me. And then I say, okay. And God says, "You know what? I'm asking you to do this because I know that you are." And so I have to say, okay, thank you. And believe that God will give me the words and the know how to guide this particular meditation for these people that I care about, right? I have family members who are addicts. I was an addict at one time, I was an alcoholic, but to support this group of individuals who I don't know where they're suffering right now. I talked about that the other day. Where are they? Imagine what they're going through. Good morning, Antonio. We don't understand what these people who are, or maybe you do, maybe you have a story, maybe you are an addict. I don't know. And maybe you're struggling, right? We're all addicted to something, coffee. But to support these people who are in recovery, support the ones who are trying to get clean during this time. This is not an easy time for people to quit, for people who are addicts to clear themselves of this energy. It's a hard time because they're in isolation and their networks of connection to the people on the streets that they considered their family have probably been cut off. The people that probably they could talk to and understand them the most have been cut off from them. Good morning, Lisa. But that's a blessing. To be asked to do something, I'm very honored to do that. Very honored to support my community the way that I can. And this is the way God said you're going to support the community. Okay, God, I am listening. I'll do whatever you tell me to because I'm your puppy, right? I put that the other day. I'd rather be God's puppy than the ego's slave or puppet. Bless you too, Suze. I'd rather be God's puppy, okay, than the ego's puppet. And I am God's puppy, loyal. You will not steer me from God. I'm like, I have these I'll end with this. I have these two friends, right? One friend has a dog. Well, they both have dogs, and these dogs love me. Okay, it's like a bond that I have with these dogs. For They just love me, right? Yes, pray for the mental ill, absolutely. And that's what the meditation is going to be for the people, behavioral health, individuals, and then people in recovery. So yes, that's what it's for, and it's going to be prayers. So the meditation is going to happen at 5 p.m. New Mexico. It's for New Mexico, and I love that. It's my community, and so however I can help. I thought about also, sorry, I kind of went off in the weeds, but I also thought about maybe doing an event where people can donate if they're still working and want to donate, and do a meditation where we collect funds to redirect into, I don't know where the funds would go. They were doing care packages at one point, and maybe providing care packages, or something to that nature, but doing it through like a guided meditation. People can donate whatever they want, and then we can use that money collectively to support small business owners. I thought would be a good one. I do, like Tony, our cousin, who's a small business owner. They're getting hit the worst, right? The small businesses, and they have families that they need to provide for. They may have even had employees working for them, and that are out of work now. So that was a thought, and that I will let God lead that if that's what's supposed to come out of it. Again, I do everything in God's name. So if God wants it to happen, yes, good morning, Sandra, then I will do that in God's name, and we will use the funds to support maybe small business owners. I'm thinking, so I don't know. Something I thought of. I feel like I need to do more. Like I'm not doing enough. Like I have to feel like I want to save everything and everybody. And I know I can't do that, but certainly wish I could. um, and so again, so let me circle back to the dog scenario that I was going to end with, which is these dogs that my friend Curtis, and good morning, I'm worthy. Good morning, Sandra. I think I said good morning. Good morning, you too, always. And when I see these dogs, they are super loyal. Like my friend, so Cody is his name, right? He is oh, why can't I think what he is right now? Anyway, he is just loyal to me completely. Like even his owner, he will protect me against his owner. He just protects me. He loves me, and I have a bond with this dog like no other, right? And I just love this dog. Like if something happened to this dog, and of course Cody will probably go before me because dogs typically their lifespan's a little shorter. Um, I will be devastated. Okay. But this dog doesn't question me, doesn't judge me, doesn't ask me. It just loves me completely, wholly, fully, right? That's how I feel with God. Like I'm God's puppy, dog. I'm like, come here, pay attention to me. That's what I feel like always since I was a kiddo. So that's it. Just understand that. And how do we treat dogs? Like dogs that are loyal to their owners, right? Treat them good, right? Like the owner's like, here's a snack and I love you, and that's their best friend. I would rather that, right, than an ego, which is the ego steps in and says, be my puppet and do what I tell you to do. No, thank you. I'll just go over here and follow God. God has treats. The treats are love, compassion, kindness, hope, inspiration, divine will, blessings upon blessings upon blessings. So why would I go with the ego again? I don't get it. Short-term gains doesn't make sense. No, thank you. I will be a warrior of God. Thank you very much. I will be God's puppy. Okay? I'm like the teacup puppy riding along in God's little purse. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So there you go. Um, have a great day. We will see if that meditation, Lisa's on here. I don't know if Lisa's still on here. I thought maybe Lisa, you and I could collaborate on something like that, putting together some kind of a charity event with meditation and stuff, um, to support, I thought small business owners, but I don't know, to be determined. Have to go. Yes, I have to go too. So you have to go to the grocery store. Yes, be safe. I love you, cousin. I love you guys all. Have a blessed day. May God's hands be upon you always. May you remember God is in your heart. God is with you. And when you find yourself in some kind of a fear, or something, that you always come back to God, because God is always going to be there for you. Okay, God will deliver you. I promise you. Okay, so I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.